So I lost my sunglasses again, so we're gonna start the day with a new pair I picked up yesterday. I'm not sure what I feel about these just yet. Thought I'd try something new. Plus they were only $2. I don't think they're too bad.
Inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire. No more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, and I don't need to go around anymore.
I am so tired. I screwed up my computer yesterday. To make a long story short, I tried to put it in safe mode, and now none of my monitors will get a signal. You probably see it in the background all the time. Big, huge 6-monitor setup. Spent hours and hours and hours on it yesterday trying to get it running, and I can't figure it out. But for now, I need to wake up. Yeah, I bought these for $2 at Walmart. Don't ever, ever, ever go to a payday advance establishment like this. I paid tens of thousands of dollars to these people in fees over the course of about 12 years. I'm not even kidding. It seems like a great way to get some quick money to pay off some bills or go on a vacation or something like that, but it is a trap.
Taking risks, I'm casting off without a lifeline. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. Cancel the cruise.
Look at this little tropical snow back here. Do any of you remember the photo mats you'd actually drive up and drop off your film to have it developed? Really, the person who came up with it in the first place is a genius. On one hand, it's a perfect marketing scheme, but it's also a sham. It's a way to steal money from people who already don't have it. Yes, if you're down on your luck and you need some quick cash, your car breaks down, you got bills due, you got disconnect notices, it can be a godsend. It gets you quick money in your hand right now that you can use to pay those bills or get yourself out of a hole. But if you're in that hole already and you can't afford to pay those bills on your own right now without that place, chances are you won't be able to pay them back in 2 weeks when the full amount is due. Here's how it works. You need some quick cash. You have a bill that's due, your car is broken down, your kid needs lunch money. Whatever the case is, you need some cash and you need it pretty quick. You can't afford to wait till your next payday. So you go into this payday advance establishment. You fill out some papers, you write them a check. Let's say you borrow $300. Your check that you write them that they will cash in 2 weeks will include all fees and interest, and will total anywhere between $345 and $395. So you're paying a huge chunk already in fees to borrow that money. You take the money, it gets you out of the hole, and you go on about your life. 2 weeks go by and you get paid. You cash your check, take the money in there, and you pay them back, and they cancel your check and hand it back to you. You give them the $300 that you borrowed and the extra amount that is the fees. Let's just say for argument's sake that you borrow $300 and you're paying back $400. You pay that back, you sign some papers, they give you your old canceled check back, and it's a done deal. But the problem now is that you've given them 3/4 of your paycheck. Now you're broke again. You can either walk away and be flat broke for the next 2 weeks until your next paycheck, or you can borrow money again. Now, the rules have changed with these places over time because every once in a while they are deemed illegal because it is such a bad sham. It used to be that you could sign the papers, pay back your loan, get your canceled check, and then sign another check right then and there and walk out with more money. The last time I did it, which was thankfully years and years ago, you had to wait for 24 hours before you could borrow more money. I honestly don't know if it's changed since then, but I don't want to find out. So now you've paid them back and you are back in the hole because you just gave away all the money from your new paycheck, and you have 2 weeks to go before you get paid again. Chances are when you paid them back and signed those papers, they asked you, do you need to take out another loan? Or they told you, you can come back tomorrow and take out another loan. This is the trap. You know you are broke, you know you need the money, so you go back in there, you sign another check, and you take out another loan, which in 2 weeks, you're going to have to pay back again and be flat broke again for another 2 weeks, or take out another loan. So now you've got yourself in this trap, in this cycle, where every week now, you're basically paying them $100 to let you keep your $300. On the initial $300 you borrowed, after you do this 3 times in a row, you have just given them $300 interest to borrow $300. Then the problem gets worse. It doesn't just stop there, because then you realize you can get more money. They will usually offer you almost to the dollar amount that you will be bringing home with each of your paychecks. So if you bring home $500 in a paycheck, or let's just say you bring home $1,000, they will let you borrow $900. And then you have to pay them back $900 plus the fees. But the problem is that every time you borrow that money, you have to pay it back in 2 weeks with those fees. There's no grace period. There's no cutting it up into smaller payments. There's no forbearance or deferment or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't exist. You have to pay that money back in 2 weeks. So it essentially puts you in this trap, in this cycle where you don't have any choice but to keep going back to them every 2 weeks, paying them back your initial money that you borrowed and taking out more to cover what you just paid them back. It is a vicious cycle, and it is near impossible to get out of. That's why I say it is a brilliant, genius plan by the person who came up with it, because they're making money hand over fist, but you are going broke and you are in a cycle that you just can't get out of. I did it myself. I was stuck in it for anywhere from 12 to 15, maybe 17 years. I started in about 1994 when somebody at work introduced me to it. I was immediately stuck. Then my wife went to it so that we would try to get ahead. She was stuck. We were both stuck in it. And at one point, it ballooned to where I was going to 3 of them at a time. I would go to one and pay them back, borrow money. Then I would go to the next one, pay them back with the money I borrowed from the last one, borrow money from them, go to the third one, pay them back with the money I borrowed from the last one, and then borrow money that I could make it on. I cannot stress how bad these places are. Don't ever do it. Don't ever consider it. Don't even look at it. If you see it, turn around and run away like it's the poltergeist. When you're in this and it becomes such a burden on you, you start searching everywhere on the internet and everywhere for how to get out of it. But the problem is that everybody's out there searching for a solution and looking for the way to get out of it. And as soon as they find it, they don't bother to go back online to those forums or wherever they discussed it and tell anybody how they actually get out of it. So there's no answers out there. If you do not pay it, they will call you constantly, 24/7. I've had them show up at my doorstep, leave notes and envelopes and all kinds of things on my door, in my mailbox. They will threaten you with court. I have seen plenty of times when they have taken people to court and sued them. And they will start sending your check into your bank, which you can't afford to cover in the first place. So that check comes in, your bank bounces it and charges you a fee. It goes back to them and they send it right back in. They will send it to your bank over and over and over and over. I'm telling you, I am not exaggerating when I say I paid tens of thousands of dollars in fees and interest just from being stuck in these places. All of them that I was going to, the checks were being written on the same bank. I decided to switch my bank and suffer the consequences. I thought, if they sue me, they sue me. I gotta get out of this. No ands, ifs, or buts. So I walked away from that bank, started another bank account somewhere else, so I would be once again in control of my money, in full control. I let all those companies start sending in the checks to my bank, and they were bouncing left and right, but at the same time I was feeding that bank just enough to cover like one of them at a time. Now some banks have a policy where they will, as a courtesy, like one time, they will wipe off any fees that you have on your account, that you've accrued on your account by bouncing a check. I took advantage of that. Otherwise, I lived with the bare minimum cash. I mean, we ate the bare minimum, we did nothing, we drove the bare minimum, everything was bare minimum while I focused on getting money in the bank to cover those checks. Eventually, all of them got paid off. I never ended up getting sued, I never got sent to court, nothing. I did finally get it taken care of. So that is my experience, and that is how I finally got it taken care of. That was years and years and years ago. I will never go back. And like I said, my advice to you is do not ever even consider going to one of those places. I cannot stress enough how bad they are. And no matter how much you think you're just going to go do it once and pay them back, it never happens. I've never known one person who was able to go in there, borrow the money, and then just pay it back and walk away. Now, I do realize that I just unintentionally turned an entire vlog into a warning about payday advance establishments. But if you've ever considered going to one, I hope that I have helped you make a better decision about it based on my truthful experience. With that being said, I'm going to leave you guys today with a Halloween rooster guarding pumpkins and hay bales. See you tomorrow. Peace.
Hey, 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 hey.